Everything you desire is waiting for you to claim it. There's no creating involved, only invention through imagination and building through action. You are at the center of all your desires, dreams, and achievements. Welcome to Designing Your Life Today, the podcast that's all about your success, achieving your goals, building wealth through your business, and building your most passionate, powerful, magnificent life. Discover ways to use your purpose to connect you to serving others and living your dreams. I am Pat Council, and I know you are built by design to win. And it all begins with knowing how to tap into your success energy. Let's get on the path of discovery, decisive action, development, and unwavering dedication to your life's calling. It's time to embark on a transformative journey where your deepest passions become your most rewarding achievements. Embrace your power to shape your destiny, because this is your moment to do life with power. Hello, Power Up Nation. I'm Pat Council. And today on Designing Your Life Today, we're going to talk about the key to mental clarity for success. So I mentioned that throughout this month, instead of just talking about spring cleaning in terms of cleaning your house and organizing your house, while we will talk about organizing your environment, I thought it would be great to include some mental spring cleaning, emotional spring cleaning, and yes, even physical spring cleaning. Putting these things in order, aligning all of these power cores will make you more powerful. But it's all about positioning you to do life with power, positioning you to recognize that you are built by design to win, and positioning you to focus and achieve your goals. So with that being said, let's jump right into this. The big deal about mental clarity is it's about cleaning up your conscious mind and clearing it such that you can take control of it. In other words, so that you can strategically choose what you would like to focus on so that you can improve and increase your success, so you can increase your outcome, so you can build that momentum or gain the kind of momentum that you need to gain so that you can achieve your goals. So what I'm going to share with you is, we're going to talk about what kind of clutters your mind, so you know exactly what kind of mental spring cleaning you want to do. But not only that, I'm also going to share with you what you can do about that clutter. So let's talk about that. The things that interfere with your success, it begins in your mind. And how does it get there? It gets there by what you see and what you watch, what you hear. And yes, even the words that you speak, because when you speak something long enough, it becomes a part of your belief system. It becomes a part of your conscious mind and ultimately a part of your subconscious mind, especially if you really, really believe it. So with that being said, let's keep on going. So what can you do about really clearing your conscious mind so that you can focus more, so you can have that mental clarity? There's a lot that you can do. But let's get into what causes you to, where that clutter comes from. So there are lots of places that the clutter can come from, but I'm mostly going to talk about the kind of energies it produces, or the kind of results that it produces, what it turns into when you allow it to go into your mind. And so the first one that I have on my list is anxiety. So when we have a lot of anxiety, it is really hard to focus on achieving any goal. It's hard to even focus, even if you make a things to do list. It's hard for you to even stay focused on that and getting through that list. So you go into procrastination mode, and procrastination, and I've talked about this before, but procrastination is connected to fear. So we get anxious about things. And when you're anxious, you're outside of faith. And when you're outside of faith, well, again, you're afraid to take the next step forward. So we've got anxiety. And of course, the Bible tells us to be anxious for nothing. So let's go to the next one because we're going to go pretty quickly through these. Now, while there's a long list of things that can interfere with your success, we're only going to do a few in the interest of time, but I think these are some of the most important ones. And I want you to keep this in mind that all of what I'm mentioning, okay, at the top of the list, these are like subcategories, but at the top, the main category is fear. So this all begins with you allowing fear to take over. So we talked about anxiety. And so the next thing is worry. Worry is a big thing as well. People worry about things that they can't control. They worry about things that they could control, but they're too afraid to take the necessary actions to control them. But either way, it stops your success. You're not moving forward because, again, worry is outside of faith. And when we worry about something, what we're saying is, let the chips fall where they may because there's nothing I can do. So you have to really call on your courage and your confidence. And now in a moment, I'm going to share some things that you can do in order to kind of get beyond that kind of clutter and clean it up a little bit in your mind. So with that being said, so we got anxiety. We talked about worry. And next we got jealousy. Now I'm going to give you both at the same time, jealousy and envy. There is a slight difference between jealousy and envy, but they're like first cousins. They are connected. And again, the main category, these are subcategories. The main category is fear. So envy, that's when it's the desire for something someone else has. It's more like being covetous. You want something that someone else has because you don't think you can get it yourself. You see it, and so you become envious of the person. On the other hand, jealousy is the fear of losing something that you already have. Okay, you're afraid of losing it to someone else. And a lot of times jealousy, of course, comes into play in relationships. And envy comes into play in relationships and other things as well. If someone's driving a brand new car, if your neighbor gets a brand new car, and you've been wanting a brand new car for a few months, and now all of a sudden they pull up in a brand new car and you don't have one, all of a sudden you become envious. So when you start to envy, you're sending a very strong, let's say, energetic signal, if you will, that you can't afford it, you're not capable, you're not smart enough. So remember I said you need that courage and confidence. So you're kind of putting yourself down when you are jealous and envious of someone. So these are four of the energies that can really interfere with your success. When you decide that, I want to clean up my thinking and I want to put my attention on the right thing so that I can achieve my goals and build my magnificent life, then all of a sudden you must do what it takes to get that mental clarity. The beautiful part about mental clarity is that mental clarity, it's going to make you a better listener. It's going to make you a more constructive listener. And mental clarity allows you to open your mind to greater possibilities. And that's really what it's all about. So how do you really start to deal with a lack of mental clarity? Well, first of all, less complaining. See, when there's jealousy, when there's envy, even worry and anxiety, people complain. And sometimes people go, oh, he or she, they're so negative and all they do is complain. Well, it's coming from somewhere. So they're either anxious for something, their confidence is telling them that they're not good enough or that they couldn't possibly do what it takes, or that they're just simply afraid, and even though they know what to do. And so they complain. And so if you can start out with less complaining, well, that would be great. And how do you start out with less complaining? First of all, I think a lot of things before we can start to clean up, you have to be aware of it. So you want to be aware, know what you are complaining about. Because here's the beautiful part about complaining. about something that's surrounding anxiety, worry, jealousy, and envy. And as I said, there are other categories that I could add to, or subcategories that I could add under fear, procrastination, and the list could go on and on. But we're only going to deal with a few because I think these are extremely important. And I think if you can overcome the anxiety, the worry, the jealousy, and the envy, I think you could also take care of the procrastination. But you need to know what you're complaining about. Know what the issue is. And if you say, well, I don't know what the issue is, sometimes people don't want to admit that they're afraid. And even if you don't want to admit that you're afraid, here's some things that you can do. Become more aware by really in the present moment, not looking at yesterday, what happened yesterday, not looking at or worrying about what's going to come tomorrow, but in the present moment, like right now you're listening to this is the present moment, but in the present moment, you need to become present moment aware. And that's going to help you improve your focus. And so not only that, when you are in the present moment, you feel more powerful. And as a result, your emotional well-being, it actually improves. But let me give you a few more techniques that you can use. Now, I got to tell you, one of my favorites is visualization. Visualization is extremely important. And sometimes I watch some of the videos on YouTube and they're saying, oh, you don't need visualization. You just need a really good system. You need they make it sound as though it's either one or the other, but you need them both. But in order for you to even begin to make a really good system, and I don't know why people don't get this, is you have to be able to visualize what is the outcome you're looking for? What is the thing you desire? And so in order for you to even move forward, you need to know what it is you want. Like I said, know what you're complaining about. And if you hear your complaints, that will tell you the thing that you desire to have. So use visualization and do it on a daily basis. And there are different things that you can do, or different types of visualization techniques that you can use that will help you to become more focused, more empowered, more excited about life. And we'll talk about those in the very near future. Another thing is exercise. Okay. One thing that's really great. And so for me, I have to exercise more than just like 1 hour a day. And I know I've seen the different, not just videos, but I've heard people, well, if you just go for a 30-minute walk or you just go to the gym for 30 minutes. Yeah, I've got to work it out a little bit more than that. But what I'm saying is at least exercise. If you can't do at least an hour, yes, do the 30 minutes, go for a walk, do some yoga. A lot of people seem to be into yoga these days. So give it a shot and see what happens. And I'm talking about the physical aspect, the exercise only. And so engage in some physical tasks that make you feel like you're accomplishing something, such as cleaning. When you start to clean and organize things, like in your home or in your environment, even in your office, away from home, then you're going to feel like it's going to give you a sense of accomplishment. And I promise you, it's going to almost feel like, wow, feel so much better. Like things are flowing. The energy is going to go up. So the other thing, you can kind of change your daily routine a little bit. Sometimes when, we adopt a daily routine and at some point it's not, let's say, producing for us in the sense that, it's so humdrum until we actually don't want to do it, until we do it and we just kind of go through the motions. There's very little energy there. There's very little excitement. So instead, you want to do something different. And of course, you may have heard this one, but I'm just going to throw this one in. And of course, a part of your daily routine is to make sure that when you first wake up, and I've shared this, when you wake up, smile and give thanks, express your gratitude before you look at your phone, before you do anything else. And it doesn't matter how bad yesterday was, and it doesn't matter how bad you think the future is going to be. Okay. Go into gratitude, and that's going to take your mind off of things. Okay. Because you really don't know how that future is going to turn out. When it comes to, it's going to be so bad. If you change you, things can shift. So you want to adjust your daily routine. How you wake up is so important. Now, as far as changing your routine, that's probably the only thing I'm going to suggest to you right now, because I still think that taking the time for meditation and prayer and reading your scripture, and looking at what your things to do list, and not necessarily this long list. We're talking about maybe your top 2 to 3 things to do, and focusing on that, looking at that, and knowing which direction you're going to go in. And I've already mentioned, squeezing some exercise in there. I think that is still makes for a great morning routine. And actually, some of that makes for a great routine in the evening. One other thing that I want to mention before I mention the final one is taking the time to journal. Now, a lot of times people use the phrase brain dumps. That is, okay, I just don't even like the way that phrase sounds, but I don't have to like it. If it works for you, work it. Okay. But journaling and there are different ways to journal, by the way. Some people journal, and what they do is they write about everything bad that's happening. They write about every negative feeling that they are having. Listen, if you want to do mental clarity, you want to clean up your mind, okay, do a little mental spring cleaning, then yes, you can journal about something that perhaps bugs you, but don't leave it there. Okay, let your last sentence be a sentence that's filled with gratitude, or with some ideas of how you can improve on things and how you can make it better. End on the most positive, realistic note that you can end on. There, that's a mouthful. So in other words, write something down that's positive, but realistic in the sense that you find it to be acceptable for you. So when you journal and you take the time, because it's a present moment thing. And as I said, that's why you want to end it on that positive note. You want to end it with gratitude. You want to end it with something that you can do in the present moment that can make things better. Because when people journal, they journal about what happened yesterday or what they're afraid of and these kind of things. That's only going to increase that mental clutter. It's going to take your energy down, and you're going to carry that with you all day. Finally, we hear a lot about mindfulness and meditation. So I think meditation is very effective. So when you take the time to meditate, and usually if I'm doing it in the morning, or when I do it in the mornings, I'm visualizing, I'm meditating. And so usually I meditate first because I want to clear my mind. And I don't know if there's a specific order that you should do it in that's not effective. I just know it works for me. But you can decide whatever order works for you. Just make sure you get those things done. And finally, as we start to wrap up here, I want to suggest to you, see, a part of spring cleaning is getting rid of what is no longer of any use to you. And so you can make a list of some of the things that have been bugging you, that have been on your mind, and you can make a decision as to put some finality to it, bring some closure to it. I know some people that will carry things for years, 20 years, 30 years, and they won't let it go. And the sad part about that is their life does not grow. Okay. And there's constant struggle. Now, they may be able to get a paycheck. They may be able to make some money. I'm guessing not as much as they're capable of making, but at the same time, it is not a happy life. You can always see that there's some illness taking place. They're always at the doctor. They're always catching colds, or they're complaining. There it is again. They're complaining, but these things. So, write down the things that doesn't serve you, things that you need to kind of throw away. Reconcile with those things. If it's someone you need to apologize to, by all means, apologize to that person. If it's someone that you are no longer dealing with and you're walking around being angry or you're harboring ill will against that person, let it go. Okay, because that's not helping you. It's none of this is about them. This is about your life and you positioning yourself to build your magnificent life. So when you're harboring all of these things and you have all of these unresolved issues, you know what happens? That mental clutter stays there, and then it becomes clutter on top of clutter on top of clutter. So definitely some spring cleaning. You know, if you decide to do exercise, I would suggest that no matter what kind of exercise, this isn't just about going to the gym. You may want to take some time and go for a walk, even if it's a very short walk, and then you can go to the gym and do other things. But take some time and go for a short walk. If there's a park nearby, go and take the time and breathe and look at the trees and just embrace something beautiful. Because that is, at that point, when we're looking at something that's beautiful, we are not thinking about problems. We are not so anxious and worried about what's going on in society. These things that we talk about, but we aren't doing anything about it. And there are different things that you can do. If you say, well, I can't do anything about it. No, there are some things you can do, but it all depends on your gifts or talent. Sometimes people, such as myself, who talk a lot, and that's a part of my gift, I can use that gift to create awareness in certain areas about things that are going on, and provide some solutions based on a kind of wisdom, okay, that comes to me. Okay, whatever I'm led to say that's in the interest of solving that problem. So in that respect, so my point is it doesn't have to be something huge. So decide if you're going to do something about it. And if not, put a lid on it or throw it away. So this is that mental clarity, if you will, or gaining mental clarity, or doing that mental spring cleaning, if you will. So once you do that, I would say end on a good note by finally writing down one thing you're going to accomplish that day. And then continue to do the same thing every single day. What is this one thing you're going to accomplish? If there's something you need to declutter, what is the one thing that you're going to declutter for that day? Take some time and declutter. You don't have to do it all in a day. Okay. But anything that's creating that mental clutter, step out there and take some action on that thing. And before you know it, you will find that you'll find it easier to focus. You will find that your creativity and imagination will be at an all-time high, where solutions will come pouring in, and guidance will come pouring in. And you will realize that, wait a minute, wow, I'm more powerful than I thought I was. And so that means you'll know that you are built by design to win. And so before you know it, you're going to be doing life with power, knowing that you are built by design to win. You're not going to question it. You're going to be excited about it. You're going to be confident. So you guys, that's all I have for you today. And so take some steps and make something happen right now. Write down one thing that you're going to do, that you're going to take action on, and get rid of the anxiety, get rid of the worry. And there's no need for you to be jealous of anyone. Put some attention on you and what your gifts and talents are. And you'll be surprised that it's not about one person being better than the other. It is about each of us recognizing what our gifts and talents are and recognize how we can bring them together or collaborate and connect such that we're all powerful together. So in the meantime, I'll be back with more, but do life with power, knowing that you're built by design to win.